Good morning, everybody. And let's just acknowledge Mike for that. I mean, I don't run those, you know. Hey, Mike, great job. All right. Wow. So we will allow you to be online today since you are busy doing things like that. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want to do a little bit different today for our opening invocation. I want you to join me in it. I'm going to say it. We our art of spiritual mind treatment class this week had a affirmation or some a chant that they were encouraged to do every day. And so I thought it would be nice for you to know that chant too. And we're just going to chant it through 3 times. Okay, so repeat it after me. There is one life.
There's one life.
That life is God's life.
That life is God's life.
That life is perfect.
That life is perfect.
And that life is my life now.
And that life is my life now.
There is one life.
There's one life.
That life is God's life.
That life is God's life.
That life is perfect.
That life is perfect.
And that life is my life now.
And that life is my life now.
There is one life.
There is one life.
That life is God's life.
That life is God's life.
And that life is perfect.
And that life is perfect.
And that life is my life now.
And that life is my life now.
Now, okay, that is our opening. Let us begin. Please stand for our vision and mission statement. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. In the Declaration of Principles, I believe the kingdom of heaven is within us and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
Well, good morning, everybody. We're going to continue with our celebration of gratitude this morning. I think you all should know this song by now, don't you think, Connie?
Yes.
I should know it. If you all stand up and Connie and Reverend Sandra and all of us will lead you. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude before me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me, gratitude I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Gratitude above me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. One more time. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
All right. Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so our reading this morning is done by Dorothea.
The reading for February 27th is from M.J. Ryan's book, The Gifts. Gratitude opens our hearts. The most invisible creators I know are those artists whose medium is life itself. The ones who express inexpressible without brush, hammer, clay, guitar. They neither paint nor sculpt. Their medium is their being. Whatever their presence touches has increased life. They see and don't have to draw. They are artists of being alive. J. Stone. I spent several Christmases recently with a family that loves to give presents. Every year, the floor around the tree was heaped with hundreds of gifts, so many that it took the entire morning to open them all. But despite all that was given and received, I would leave there every year feeling empty and alone. There had been a plethora of presents, but no presents. This family gave so many gifts because they didn't know how to connect deeply to themselves and one another. They ripped through the mounds of merchandise saying, pro forma, thank you. But no one's sense of true appreciation was expressed or received. The experience was so powerful, the contrast between the material plenty and the emotional lack. It set me to thinking. That's when I realized that you can't experience gratitude with a closed heart. It's just not possible. Gratefulness is only experienced in the moments in which we open our hearts to life, to the beauty in this moment, to the possibility of surprise in the next. A person does something kind for you, even very small thing, say, holding the door open for you. When you say thank you and really mean it, rather than saying it out of social convention, your heart instinctively opens to the person. In that moment, you experience your connection to one another, even if you never lay eyes on each other again. Open-heartedness takes courage. It requires enough trust in the goodness of other people and the universe at large that we can put aside our self-protectiveness, that we say, I am not going to be grateful for what I am receiving. I am going to be grateful. It's hard. It's scary to take a risk. Things get hurting. And take a leap of faith to acknowledge that we have received a gift. The fact that the true gratitude creates a sense of open-heartedness is the reason so much of the thanks in this culture is rote and unfeeling. People are afraid to feel thankful because they are afraid of the out of control experience that occurs when they acknowledge the bond between the giver and the receiver. We are afraid to feel the love that gets created anytime we express true thanks. As adults, our hearts have been broken many, many times. And by golly, we want to make sure it doesn't happen again. The choice is ours in every moment. Do we want to live in a seeming safety, shut inside the shell of our individuality, unwilling to experience the deep, abiding connections that are ours in any case? Or are we willing to risk over and over having our hearts broken open to the beauty and the pain of all that is ours to experience. When we do, you experience an open heart. What are the conditions that foster your willingness to open your hearts? As we practice true gratitude, we learn to take risk over and over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothea. Good morning, everybody. I have a song for you this morning. When I was traveling through Egypt, I was struck by the similarities that we all have throughout this world. And I came home and I started working on the song. It's called One World. As I travel around the world, I see reflections of me. A sacred thread runs through humanity. All mothers love their children. All are seeking grace, no matter their religion or their race. Why talk of differences? Let's breathe our common air. Why are we greedy when we know there's enough to share? We must remember we are one world, just a blue ball spinning in the vast universe. Take a look, it's a small world. Stop tearing it apart. It's time to start to heal. As we focus on ourselves, we see that we can be a source of hope for all humanity. 'Cause we all want the same things, life, love, and dignity. I know your heart can sing with me. We've waited long enough to make a new reality. Another moment when we know how wondrous peace can be. Shower our world with love. Stop fighting wars. Open up the doors and live in peace. So I just wonder why on this small planet we can't just all get along. Why we have to give in to greed and avarice. And I dedicate this song to the Ukrainians this morning. We must remember we are one world, just a blue ball spinning in the vast universe. Take a look, it's a small world. Stop fighting wars. Open up our doors and live in peace. Stop fighting wars. Open up our doors and live in peace.
Cynthia told me that she had a song she had wrote, but for today, and that's just amazing. Yes, and Marcia, thank you for putting up the world and the peace and the words with us, so that we could all. That just gives us, it allows us to not just hear it, but we see it and we feel it. And the world just stays on the precipice sometimes. And so thank you so much. Appreciate that. I don't even know what to say, where to go from there. It's just wonderful. Thank you. And Dorothea, the reading this morning. So the readings, usually, I usually do them like a few days before. Sandy's calling me, what reading are we having this week? And, but this month, I knew it was going to be a busy month. So for some reason, I thought, let's do it all on gratitude since we're doing the magic book. So I got all the readings and they all came up. The one that you did today, I'm sitting here going like, I did that? That's the one I chose for today? And sure enough, it's the one I chose for today. And guess what? The title for today's talk is The Ultimate Fear Buster. What's the end of what she was just talking about? Fear, and how fear gets in the way of our gratitude. I'm sitting there going like, wow, how about that? God, you did a really good job of organizing this whole thing today. Her song, the reading, everything just, I just love the way things just go together. Even when you think you're planning them out and it's being out planned for you. Because everything is in mind before it manifests in body. Keep that in mind, that we are looking at the outpicturing of what has gone on mentally, emotionally, spiritually, long before we step foot into today. So I want to tell you the story about two wolves. There was a young man, a grandson, and his obviously his older Cherokee grandfather. And the man was telling his grandson about a battle that happens inside of people. And he said to him, my son, the battle is between the two wolves inside of us. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sadness, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity. It is humility, kindness, goodness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The grandson pondered this for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, well, which wolf wins? Because of course they are at war, right? The old man replied, the one you feed. The wolf you feed. So you can feed envy and jealousy, greed, like she was saying in the song this morning, arrogance and self-pity, or you can feed the joy and peace and love and serenity, truth and generosity. We always have a choice. We always have a choice. And that's what your song was about. It was that choice to live in peace. We have that choice. It's always there and available to us. But too often we feed the wolf of greed. This month we've been reading Rhonda Byrne's book, The Magic. Let me step over here. I like to show stuff, so just in case you missed seeing this. Okay, so we've been reading this book, and yesterday was day 26. And in day 26, she starts talking about mistakes, the mistakes that we make. And in it, she says, on the first page, why is it that adults are so hard on themselves when they make a mistake? Because children, they fall down, they get up, and, they keep right on going. They make mistakes over and over and over sometimes. But adults do not. Now, I'm not going to go through the process of going from childhood to adult, but I just want us all to recognize how hard we are on ourselves when we make a mistake, because she's absolutely right about that. But She asked the question, I have the answer. The answer is, when we make a mistake, there's a lot of feeling and emotion that goes into it. See, a mistake is an action or a judgment that is misguided or wrong. And we have been conditioned to believe that if we're wrong, something is wrong with us. If you make a mistake, then something's wrong with me. I made the mistake, so therefore something's wrong with me. And we internalize our mistakes and make them about who we are. And it does this to our self-esteem. It makes us feel less and less and less and less and less. The child, on the other hand, is, disappointed, but they get up and they try and do it again. They don't put any energy into the mistake that they've made. Now, she uses the example of the police. Now, we're going to take away all the energy we have about police away, okay? Because right now, we've got a lot of energy about police, all right? This is just an example, okay? Let's just use this, just for right now, okay? Take all that other stuff away. So her example was a police stopping and, getting a ticket. And then she suggests, that you do gratitude around all the things that you get out of this as a result. So, the learning and whatever. But what happens when you get stopped by the police? You just see the lights in the back and your energy goes like, all right, and you start all this fear, and all this stuff starts coming up in your mind just by seeing the lights in the back of the car, okay? And then you have to find a place to pull over safely. And in the process of pulling over safely, you're thinking, am I going to get a ticket for pulling over safely? Waiting and not pulling over immediately? And all of these things start to come up. And what are they? They're fears. They're fears of what could happen, of what is happening. And all of this is going on in ourselves before the policeman even stops us. Stop and think about that, okay? And then we go into the perception of, how much is this ticket going to cost me, And we just have all these feelings that just start to come up, all this anxiety. So we have made the mistake of driving too fast, or maybe it's getting caught for driving too fast. Okay, maybe that's the mistake. It's a mistake. It's wrong. We probably saw the sign that said 65 and we're going 80. Not a good thing to do. But, the thing is, I'm watching people go flying by me, at 80, 85. I swear some of these people are going 90. And they didn't get caught, but I did. So now what's happening? I'm blaming myself. I'm blaming the cop. There's all this emotion that's going on and all these fears that are coming up. Is this, if I get a ticket, is my insurance going to go up? I can't pay for this. What about me getting stopped, and where I was going, I'm going to be late or whatever the issues are, right? All of this is accompanying our fear. And so it's really hard to look at this moment and go like, I'm really grateful for this cop stopping me. Okay? I mean, we're not going to do that in the moment. We're going to go to the fear that we have about getting stopped. So, how do we get to the fear to the gratitude of being stopped by the policeman? She gives you some ideas, but I have some ideas first. I want to share with you too. First, we want to realize that our imagination has created a lot of stuff, okay? Because some of the things that our imagination has created, first of all, the policeman is not necessarily going to give you a ticket. We've all been stopped at one point and not gotten a ticket. I have been stopped and not gotten a ticket, okay? I've been stopped and got a ticket, but I've been stopped and not got one. So, the thing is our fear projects out into the experience, something that might happen or might not happen. But our fear is in the energy goes into what might happen that we do not want to happen. So our imagination is being used in a negative way. Okay? Instead of saying,
I'm going to sit here and think about how this cop has stopped me, and I'm going to have a lovely conversation with him, and we are not going to have a ticket today. This is not my day to get a ticket. We could do that imagination too. That's our choice. We have the choice to imagine something bad happening or something, the two wolves, remember? You can imagine that something is going to happen that you don't want to happen. You can also imagine something to happen that you do want to happen. So remember, fears are what? False effects appearing real, which means, right, that they are not real yet. They are still in the realm of the mind, remember? And as long as they're in the realm of the mind, they don't have to manifest unless you give them the energy and the permission to manifest, okay? So first, face it. This is after the experience, okay? Your fears, we all have fears. So make a list of all the fears you have and work on them one at a time. Okay, write down the fears. What do you fear might happen? In this situation, you fear that you might get a ticket. You might get a ticket that you can't afford. Your insurance might go up as a result of it if they report it. Okay, and then ask yourself, what is realistically something that could or not happen or has happened in the past? Well, it's like, realistically, I could afford the ticket. Realistically, the insurance doesn't necessarily have to go up. We've all had tickets and the insurance rate didn't go up. And then ask yourself, what did not happen? You didn't have a crash. You pulled over, and the policeman didn't give you a ticket for pulling over in an illegal place, okay? You made a mistake. You did something wrong. That's all. Sometimes we do things that are something that's wrong, and then we blow it all out of proportion, right? And we get on this track and we can't get off of it. And it goes on for days and days and days. Going back to our example, Bernie Siegel years ago talked about spiritual flat tires. Okay? Spiritual flat tires are when something happens and it looks like it's a bad thing, but in actuality, it turned out to be, something good, but you don't know it until you see the good thing happen later on, okay? For instance, the policeman stopping you. The policeman slowed you down, didn't they? Well, I'll give you this example this morning, because this morning, I have my daughter's dog, my dog, and my granddaughter's dog all at my house temporarily. They follow me around everywhere I go. I'm just like, I'm ready to pull my hair out. Obviously, I cannot bring them to church with me. If they would be all over the place, okay? Anyway, some of you have seen Angel, so she's all over the place. You know that. Well, Cupid is her brother, and he is also almost as rambunctious as she is, okay? So the three of them cannot come here. So what did I do? I dropped them off at the daycare. So of course, I had a time when I was planning to drop them off at the daycare. Yes, okay, and I was running late, but we got them all into the daycare, and I hit the road, and I was slower than I had anticipated me. I always use my GPS because you never know. Sometimes it changes you, reroutes you, tells you what's going on. So I have my GPS on, and it said there were like 15 hazardous things on the way. Well, those 15 hazardous things were mostly cars along the road. What it did not tell me is that on 285 at Atlanta Road, there was an accident. Now, it had not been that long, but suppose I had come a few minutes earlier. I don't know what might have happened had I come a few minutes more. I could have been involved in that, right? I don't know, because the thing is that I was slowed down. I didn't move as fast as I was intending. Now, is that a spiritual fact? We will never know. We will never know. But at the same time, what I do know is that there wasn't an accident on the on the GPS when I was starting out. It didn't show up. They didn't even tell me there was an accident. The GPS didn't tell me it was an accident until I got about 2 miles away. But the signs that they put up above, it said that there was a crash on Atlanta Road and near Atlanta Road, and that 2 left lanes were blocked. So I got a warning of it. But who knows where I might have been had I been on my time, that I had decided this is what I wanted to do, and I had not gotten slowed down. That's a spiritual flat tire. Okay? Even if I wasn't in the accident, okay, I may have been further behind and in more traffic. I moved through the traffic fairly easily. So we don't know what we're missing sometimes when we get slowed down. Maybe when that cop stopped you, he stopped you from having an accident. You don't know. Excuse me. Think about it. Why were you speeding? Were you running late? Where did you want to go that you were in such a big hurry? See, we do so much at a level of not thinking about what it is we're doing and what is causing us to do what it is we want to do. We just go along with whatever is going on in the world. We need to, if we're going to deal with our fears, we have to, first of all, be aware of what those fears are, and then we have to start working on them and combating them and asking what is the reality of this, what needs to happen and what doesn't need to happen. And then we have to learn not to feed the wolf that says, I can't do this. I'm greedy, or well, we don't tell ourselves we're greedy. What we say to ourselves is, I need this. I have to have this. And we don't think in terms of, I don't really have to have it. I want it because everybody else has it, or for whatever emotional reason that we have within ourselves. So what is the ultimate fear buster? In one word, gratitude. Another word, love. And the other one, not feeding the wolf, the first wolf. Feed the second one. Ernest Holmes defined love as this. He said, love is the self-givingness of the spirit through the desire of life, capital L, life, meaning spirit, to express itself in terms of creation. So love is giving of yourself any time that you want to, create. When you want to create something in the world. Fear does what? It pulls you back, it contracts, okay? It makes you surround yourself protectiveness. We talked about that last week. Fear makes you pull back and you withdraw. It's feeding that second one. It's feeding the greed, the unhappiness, the lack of willingness to be engaged in a positive way in our world, okay? Love, on the other hand, is what? Expressive. Stop, just think about the people that you love. What do? You're always wanting to what? Do good things for them. Be in a healthy relationship with them. Whenever you love somebody, you just naturally do that thing. Just think about that. How you experience people that you love, as opposed to how you feel when a policeman stops you. Well, when you see the lights, in, even if they don't stop you, they got the lights on somebody, and it's like, is it me? Okay, so I'm just using that as an example because it's probably an example that we can all relate to. And yet we all have fears about other things. We have fears that people aren't going to like us. We have fears that we're not good enough. We have fears that we're not going to have enough money. We have fears that we're going to get Alzheimer's. We have fears that other people that we know are going to get Alzheimer's. We have, I could go on all day like this. And you could probably put in some yourself. And yet, at the same time, which of these fears can you not come back by facing them, acknowledging that there's some good that's there to them, acknowledging that they have not come about yet, and that you don't want to add to them, you don't want to feed them, you don't want to give them any energy, okay? And which of these fears can you look at and find, where's the love in it, and where's the gratitude? How can I find love and gratitude in these? And then Kale Gabron, she uses the example, the quote from him today. She says, "The appearance of things changes according to the emotions, and thus we see magic and beauty in them, while the magic and beauty are really in ourselves." The magic and beauty is really in ourselves. It's not out there in the world. But we have to do what? We have to find that magic and beauty in ourselves. And you cannot do that as long as you are living in fear. As long as you are feeding the wolf that says, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or any of those iterations. Do you see? We have to find that place within ourselves that's loving, that's compassionate, that's peaceful. And as we do that for ourselves, we can then relate to it in others. We can find it elsewhere. Somewhere in Ukraine right now, someone is sitting down, quietly meditating and being peaceful. It is happening. How do I know that? Because wherever one person is doing it, somebody else is doing it. And we are peaceful here. We are all touching all aspects, all parts of the universe. And as long as we are continuing to see that peace is possible, then it has to manifest itself in some way. It will manifest itself in some parts of Ukraine. It will manifest itself in some parts of Russia. It will manifest itself in some parts of Atlanta. It will manifest itself in some parts of Washington, D.C., California, Nevada, wherever we are, right here. I'm looking at people who are at peace right now. They're not up going like, ah, they're sitting here at peace. We started out talking about how there is one life. What does that mean, there's one life? If there is one life, then it means that all of us are part of that one life. We're all breathing the same air. We're all using that same energy. So if there's only one life and that life is perfect, what does that mean? It means it has all the peace that is necessary, all the love that is necessary, all the goodness that is necessary, that we need in order to express it and experience it in the world. You can never look within yourself to find love and not find it there. The problem is that we get too involved with our fears and we don't go looking for the love and the compassion within ourselves. When we look for the love and compassion within ourselves, we find it, because what does he say? The magic and beauty are really in ourselves. And we do what? We take it from the divinity within us and we push it out into the world. The fear forms a barrier, and sometimes we have to push through that barrier because the world out there believes in the fear. They believe in the fear of war. They believe in the fear of nuclear war. They believe in the fear of whatever gets in the way of loving and of living peacefully together. But we who know better get to choose. And not only do we get to choose, we are responsible for choosing peace and love, compassion, joy, happiness. and expressing it everywhere we possibly can in our world. And our whole book about gratitude this month has been about looking at the various areas of our lives and saying, there's something there to be grateful for. Even in our darkest moments, there is something to be grateful for. Even getting stopped by a policeman. Now, I want to give you another example that from my own life about getting stopped by a policeman and letting you know you don't have to get a ticket, okay? But it's also about taking responsibility for your fears. So years ago, my daughter was going to UCLA, and I was driving home from seeing her. And on the way, I was a Sunday morning. I don't know how I happened to be on a Sunday morning because I used to go to church all the time. Anyway, it was a Sunday morning. It was bright. It was springtime. And there was a section going over mountains from Southern California to Northern California called the Grapevine. And it's like 10 lanes wide. Okay, remember that? It's like 10 lanes wide. And on a Sunday morning with nobody on there, 90 miles an hour in an almost new car is like, whoa, let's go. Okay? And I was just having a great time, just speeding along. And I'm sure I was going 85 or 90 because the speed limit is 65. And police don't usually stop you unless you're going 20 miles over the speed limit, or unless you're being unsafe or whatever. Anyway, there's nobody on the road but me and this other lady. And she would pass me and I would pass her, and we were doing this, and neither one of us saw the cop. So this policeman comes up behind us. It turned out that California has a highway patrol. So the highway patrol woman comes up, lights blaring. And I'm like, oh no, geez, I will get a ticket now. And it was like, I was speeding. I was speeding. There's been lots of times that this is my thought process. Honestly, this was my thought process at the time, okay? I was speeding, and I've sped before, and they never caught me. So this is the time I got caught. And so we'll just take whatever I get. So when I'm sitting there, I pulled out my driver's license and my insurance or whatever I needed, and I was ready to hand it to the policewoman. And she looked at me and she said, okay. She said, wait here. And then she goes down. She had to walk down a little ways, maybe it was a good ways before the other woman had stopped. Anyway, she goes down there and she talks to her. She comes back to me. She says, okay, let me see your thing, and she runs it, to see I had no priors, that hadn't been convicted of anything. So anyway, after she finished, she gave me back my license. She walked back down, to her. And then she came back to me and she said, you were both speeding. But, and by the way, I had told her I was speeding. I'm not arguing with you, okay? And so anyway, so she went down to them and she comes back. She says, you admitted that you were speeding. You're not arguing with me. There's nothing on your driver's license. But she has 2 little kids in the car, and she's arguing with me about speeding. She's telling me, no, I wasn't speeding. Yes, ma'am, you were. She said, so she is getting a ticket. You are not, but do not leave until after she leaves, because I don't want her to know that you did not get a ticket. Okay? So you see, you don't have to get a ticket. Sometimes, I'm not telling you that I wasn't afraid, because I was afraid that I was going to get a ticket, but I was like, you know what? I've sped a lot of times. I speed all the time. I never get caught. So this time I got caught. All right, just take it. So, the thing is, it's where you're coming from. Sometimes I could have imagined all kinds of things. I could have argued with the policewoman. The other woman did. She did. And guess what happened? Because what? She didn't want to take responsibility for it. And then she's like, you have 2 kids in the car. Do you know what you could have done with those 2 kids? Because the policewoman has seen accidents with children in the car, right? And she's going like, no. I am stopping you before you hurt those children. So she's got, I was by myself. I guess she figured if you know, that's just as we open our hearts and minds to be receptive to it. We willingly release and let go of the fears that we have in our life as we attach ourselves to the love, as we allow the love that is already available to us, that is just standing there like the air before us, it's asking us, opening to us, making itself available to us. All we have to do is say, yes, I choose love. And in this moment, we do. Choose love, choose peace, choose joy, choose all of the goodness we can possibly imagine. And as we do, we are participating in the perfection that God is already, it's already made available to us. And so with an open heart and mind this day, I'm knowing this truth is unfolding in us and through us and as us in a very perfect way for each and every one of us in our own lives, individually and collectively. We are uplifting the entire world. We are bringing peace and love where there is anxiety and unhappiness. We are bringing peace and love and joy in our mind and affecting people around the world as a result of the work that we are doing, because there is one life and each and every one of us is part of it. And so therefore, as we speak our word, as we know our truth, as we live that truth in our own lives, we absolutely must have the rippling effect of that experience worldwide. And so with gratitude, and I release this word now knowing that it is already done, that it is a truth that is already known, and it's simply being manifest as I speak this word. And so it is.
So it is.
Okay. We can do that. We're gonna change some stuff, something. What are we gonna do right now, though?
Right.
What are we gonna do right now?
Yeah.
We're gonna do the offering right now.
Or the announcements.
No, announcements don't go yet. Okay, so if you would join me in doing a conscious giving, we're doing something a little different on the music today. So we're gonna do our offering and then we'll do the. Okay. I am so grateful. Thanksgiving affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. Okay, so we have been doing this book this month, and we are just about finished. We have the 28th is tomorrow. Now, you have the book, and guess what? You can continue to use it. And here's a suggestion. So Wednesday, let's see, Tuesday is March 1st, right? Okay, so March 1st, you can start with day 1 again. Or you can just, open it up and choose a day, any day. I've opened up to 12. You could do the activity for 12. It doesn't matter. You've been through the whole book. So now you can even look through the table of contents and say, I need to work on this today. On the contents, it has all the various activities, works like magic, magic money, magic kill hell, magical morning. You can just look through there and choose one. Take your finger, go down the thing and stop. Choose it that way. You can do so much now that you have the book. And if you haven't got the book, get the book and do it for yourself. You don't have to start on day 1 of the month. You can start, day 1 can start on day 15. It's just that you want to just keep going for 28 days. Okay. All right. So next month is March. And we are going to have Edwin Gaines' book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And in this book, it is 4 spiritual laws. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of those laws each week, so that we'll be talking about this book for 2 months, March and April. Okay, so let's see. She has part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. And so in part 1, you have chapters 1, 2, and 3. So for the first 2 weeks of March, we're going to talk about 1, 2, and 3, along with whatever else we're talking about. Okay? And so forth. We're going to be doing it that way through the month. So in your newsletter, there is a link to Amazon. Be sure and use your Smile account to purchase the book. And I think it's less than $15. It's not very expensive. And there's different ways to purchase it too. You can also get it on Kindle if you want. It also, I saw, is on audiobooks. So if you are an audiobook person or you want to listen to it instead of reading, sometimes it's really nice to get the audio along with and read and read along with it, so that you're hearing it and seeing it at the same time. It just kind of helps us sink things in. For those of you who live afar, you're going to be getting something in the mail this week, so start looking for it, but do not open it until you come to church next Sunday. And when you get the mail, you will know what I'm talking about. So you should get it before Saturday. Those of you who are in Arizona and Nevada, California. Okay, it's a surprise. I won't tell you what it is. Do not open it until you get it. Until next Sunday, because the rest of these people aren't going to get theirs until next Sunday. So that's why, but you need to have it. That's why you're getting it mailed early. Now, one more nice surprise thing. Edwin Gaines did workshops all over New Thought, Unity, CSL, any place, any New Thought church that asked her to come, she would come to for 250 days out of the year. That's a lot of traveling that she did. And she always did great workshops. We always enjoyed her workshops. I had her a couple times at my church. I saw her at other different places. And she's retired now. But there are videos on YouTube of her workshops. And I thought, why not just play one of her workshops? So that's what we're going to do next Saturday. Next Sunday, after church. There's no charge for it. It's done on a love offering basis, and she explains all that in the video. And it's to be about 90 minutes. We'll take a 15-minute break. It'll start at 12:30. Now, here's the thing. You'll have to go. It's a different link. It's not the same link as we use for Sunday service. You'll need to go on to the newsletter, and there's a link there to the Zoom account, and you have to register. Now, please feel free to forward this newsletter to anybody you want, because somebody asked me, could people from other churches come? Absolutely. Anybody who knows Edwene and wants to watch this, or doesn't know her and wants to know who she is, or just wants to have this experience, because she's going to be talking on the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. Okay. So that's for next week. So plan on it. Okay. So it's like 90 minutes, starts at 12:30. Okay.
All right.
That's our announcements for today. Next,
we have special music, and
All
it's
right.
going to turn into a congregational, so be ready out there. We wanted to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth in honor of the Ukrainian crisis and to show support for those people. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With spirit as our creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my humble vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace and eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So now we're going to ask all of you online and all of you here to stand and grab someone's hand, and we're going to lead you through this song. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. The peace that was meant to be. The peace that was meant to be. With God and with Spirit as our creator. United all are we. United all are we. Let us walk with each other. Let us walk with each other. In perfect harmony. In perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let this be the moment. Are you singing at home? Come on, family. With every step I take. With every step I take. Let this be my solemn vow. Let this be my solemn vow. Oh, yes. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally.
Declare peace, everyone. Everyone all around, declare peace. Thank you.
Okay, so that's our second congregational song. I don't know why we stopped singing that. Any New Thought church you went to, CSL, Religious Science, Unity, we all sang that at the end of the service. Yeah, I don't know when it stopped. Well, anyway, we're gonna sing it next month. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. The thing is that we have to keep focusing on peace. It's not something that comes and goes. There's somewhere in the world, peace is needed and necessary. And how about right here? Right here, right where we are. Okay, so that is our service for today. Thank you so very much for joining us online. And those of you here in person, thank you for joining us. And let's do our closing affirmation. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world, and only good goes from us, and only good comes to us. And so it is.
So it is.
So if you would like to stick around for a few minutes, and we'll talk about this book.
And we wanted to invite those of you online who would like to, those who are watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, and with our live stream, to come up and say hello if you'd like to, now that the service is over. Thank you.
Okay.